The station you can count on.
I don't know what his intent was, but it was bone deep down to the marrow stupid.
Only on News Talk 1079.
Stimulating talk.
You and I have a rendezvous with death. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. We will keep in mind and remember that you and I have the ability and the dignity and the right to make our own decisions and determine our own destiny.
And good morning, East Idaho. Again, I'll apologize for the abrupt ending to the opening to the Neal Larson Show. When Neal goes on vacation and he rebuilds the clock, sometimes we lose a portion of what you're usually hearing. But here we are. It's a Tuesday, and we're back. Neal has safely made it to Alaska. I actually think he's still asleep. I have yet to hear from him this morning. I did hear from him after I was asleep last night saying that he did make it and all is well. So we're wishing him the best. I hope he gets to get out into Anchorage today and see some of the sights and some of the beauty that Alaska has to offer. But we have so much news in the news cycle today. And I promised you in the last hour that we would talk about The View today. I need to do this while Neal's gone because he absolutely loathes playing.
She's also falsely saying that immigrants are receiving Medicaid. They are not allowed to receive Medicaid. So this is how politicians will fool people who don't check their own facts and say,
here, I'll stop that for you. I inadvertently rolled over it and it started playing on me. This is the clip from The View. And like I was saying, Neal hates it when we play clips from The View. So I play it while he's not here. What you're hearing, that first voice that you already just heard, she's a guest on The View. I think she's a regular guest on The View. But what she's talking about is she's going to say that illegals aren't receiving Medicaid. And then Sunny Hostin jumps on board. So listen to the clip.
She's also falsely saying that immigrants are receiving Medicaid. They are not allowed to receive Medicaid. So this is how politicians will fool people who don't check their own facts and say, oh, this other thing is your problem, when no, that's not the problem.
Clearly those people knew that she was not giving them correct information. They were I mean, I like when I hear people go, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I like that.
And to your point, Sarah, undocumented people that are here, I'd rather not call people illegal because I don't think humanity is, being a human being is illegal, but they're undocumented people that are here. They don't get social safety net programs, but they do pay into Social Security, and they do pay almost $1 billion into our social safety net programs. But she's also...
Okay. They couldn't be more wrong. And I'm going to show you how they couldn't be more wrong. But I want to point out something very quickly before we go to a Newsweek article that lists all of the states where illegal immigrants are receiving, as they call them, social safety network programs. I did one quick sentence to ChatGPT. That sentence was, what do the hosts of The View make? Geez, it probably took me 7 seconds to type it. Whoopi Goldberg, $8 million per year. Joy Behar, $7 million per year. Sunny Hostin, who should have been smart enough to figure out what she was saying was wrong, which I would believe she's smart enough, so she's just outright lying. She's smart enough to know, so that means she's lying. Sunny Hostin makes $1.6 million per year. Then you've got Anna Navarro and Alyssa Farah-Griffin. They make about $250,000 a year. Which, man, those two are really getting the raw end of the deal on all of this. So if they're making that much money, why couldn't they then go to Google, which is exactly what I did, and I Googled a simple phrase like, are there states where illegal immigrants receive social programs? And Newsweek wrote an article just last week. It's dated May 28th. I'm gonna walk through this for you. The whole reason this conversation is happening is because the big, beautiful bill will, according to Newsweek, seek to, quote, punish the 14 states that currently offer health coverage to people in the U.S. Okay, they're calling that health coverage. It's actually Medicaid. So there's 14 states that offer Medicaid, and we're going to punish those states, according to Newsweek, because there are illegal immigrants receiving that. Okay, so Newsweek asked the question, why does it matter? Here's what they say. Immigrants without legal status typically do not qualify for federal benefits. However, more than a dozen states offer various forms of health coverage to undocumented migrants. Oh, Sonny would like the word choice there. They're actually illegal immigrants. While advocates of such services argue these programs promote public health, reduce long-term costs, and align with moral obligations to care for vulnerable populations, critics contend that such efforts strain budgets and could incentivize illegal immigration. Do you think? Do you think people come here just to get free health care? We have talked about on the Neil Larson Show before that there's birthing houses in California where illegal immigrants from China, from Mexico, from Venezuela, from Africa, they show up, they go into these homes, and they're due in maybe 3-4 weeks. They live there until they birth the baby, and then the baby gets automatic citizenship because it was born in America. There are homes designed for this, and it's just a constant rotation. People moving in and out, women moving in and out of the homes so that they can have their children here in America. Okay, here's what Newsweek says. The 14 states that currently provide health coverage to undocumented migrants are California, New York, Illinois, Washington, New Jersey, Oregon, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Colorado, Connecticut, Utah. Yep, I just said that. Utah, Rhode Island, Maine, and Vermont, and then Washington, D.C. does as well. Now, it does go on to clarify that California, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Maine, Colorado, and Oregon provide health insurance for adults, so Medicaid for adults, regardless of their immigration status. And then Illinois and New York provide coverage specifically to older adults, so that would be Medicare over 65. And in New Jersey, children under 19 are covered. Then it clarifies that in Connecticut, coverage is available for children under 15, but a February proposal sought to expand coverage to undocumented migrants, or as we call them, illegal immigrants, aged under 26 and above 65. Now, Utah, you're shocked like I am. In Utah, there is emergency care coverage available for undocumented migrants or illegal immigrants, and some health care coverage available for children. So Utah has the strictest boundaries on the ability for illegal immigrants to utilize Medicare, Medicaid, any social network programs for health care, because Newsweek is being specific for health care here. If I can do a quick search and find a Newsweek article that, although correct, I disagree with some of their language choice, if I can find it that quickly, how can Sunny Hostin, who makes $1.6 million per year, not find out this information for herself? The answer is they outright lie. They lie to you when they are talking about the big, beautiful bill and how there's going to be cuts to Medicaid and how it's going to be harmful. The cuts that are happening to Medicaid are based upon illegal immigrants. They are removing people from the program who do not deserve the program. And to quote Newsweek, critics say the reason that we shouldn't provide health care for illegal immigrants is because it incentivizes people to come here illegally, to not do it the appropriate way. I don't know how we have allowed Democrats to continue to spin this conversation that we're cutting Medicaid, we're cutting Medicaid, we're cutting Medicaid. What we're doing is we're cutting fraudulent use of Medicaid in the big, beautiful bill. I'll try not to bring any more view highlights to you guys than necessary, but that one I could not pass up. I cannot stand the outright lying because we know these women are not that stupid. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you on the Stones Automotive Group call and text line. That number is 208-542-1079. Just a quick list of the things that we're going to be talking with Representative Barb Ehardt about. Of course, we're going to talk about the 2025 legislative session when she joins me here in a few minutes. But there's so much more. Caitlin Clark and the Brittany Griner situation in the WNBA. We also have Caitlin Clark and Clay Travis. She is such a lightning rod in women's sports, and we couldn't ask for a better expert on that than Representative Ehardt. There's also several state championships that took place in Washington and in California and other Democrat-run states where trans athletes were able to edge out female athletes in the sporting events. So we're going to go over all of that. And also, we're entering into a new era. Major League Baseball is flirting with introducing a softball version of like the WNBA, but for the MLB. So I'll chat with Representative Ehardt about that. But first, we've got to take a commercial break, and we will have Wall Street Now and local news coming up next. I'm Julie Mason on News Talk 1079.
Time to get you updated on News Talk 1079.
I'm Kaylee Galaviz in the Local News 8 newsroom with what's making headlines. Some of the network systems at the College of Eastern Idaho are now shut down due to a malware attack. The college says a student accessed an external website on a personal laptop that brought malware into their network. The IT team shut down the network in an effort to protect their data. As of now, they do not believe any student or staff data has been breached. There is no timeline on when the full network will be restored, but summer courses are still in session. Now to a scam alert from the Idaho Transportation Department. If you've received a text claiming you owe money for unpaid traffic tickets, don't fall for it. The texts demand immediate payment and include fraudulent links. ITD says they will never text you about fines, demand instant payments, or threaten legal action. Odds are, if it didn't come from dmv.idaho.gov, don't trust it. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday, the Pocatello Fire Department will be conducting a burn and learn training exercise on Hawthorne Road right across from Home Depot. This live fire drill gives firefighters and investigators critical hands-on experience to better understand how fires start, spread, and can be safely extinguished. There may be heavy smoke nearby, so drivers, you may want to plan alternate routes. In the Local News 8 newsroom, I'm Kaylee Galaviz. Your first alert weather is next.
For the check of the weather, Michael Coates from Local News 8. Partly sunny skies with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s for our Tuesday, and a little bit warmer for our Wednesday with highs back to lower 70s. A slight chance of a thunderstorm, and we'll have lows falling back into the lower to mid 40s at night.
Tulane, a guy in our showroom just bought a new truck, and now he wants to marry it.
What? Tell him he's confusing his love for his new Tad Jenkins pickup with romantic love. Sure, we offer America's finest and best-selling trucks, including Chevy, Ford, Ram, and also Jeep, all under the Tad Jenkins umbrella of fine vehicles. But that doesn't constitute romantic love.
Okay, I'll try.
He wants to marry his truck? What's this world coming to? The next thing you know, someone is going to want to marry...
Well, it kind of worked, Tulane, but now he wants to marry our receptionist.
What? He just barely met her. Is she okay?
Oh, she's okay, all right. She accepted.
But she barely knows him.
I know, Tulane, but you're forgetting one important factor. He is driving a new Tad Jenkins pickup, and isn't that what love is really all about?
Oh, brother. Tad Jenkins Auto Group, Rigby, Blackfoot, and now Tad Jenkins Auto Sales in Idaho Falls, where small town values endure.
How about we offer a free bag of rice with every purchase?
Want to protect your trees and shrubs from leaf-eating and trunk-boring insects? Fertilome Tree and Shrub Drench is the answer. No need to spray. Just mix with water in a bucket and pour around the base of your tree, and you'll have season-long bug control with one application. Stop into Sunnyside Gardens, and with their professional help and Fertilome, you'll have healthy, bug-free trees and shrubs all year. At Sunnyside Gardens, certified nursery professionals are available to answer all your lawn care questions. 3240 East Sunnyside Road in Idaho Falls. Live life in color.
If you've been experiencing joint discomfort or pain during your favorite activities or even work, this message is for you. At Summit Orthopedics in Idaho Falls, you'll find fellowship-trained specialists for all orthopedic issues or injuries. Back and neck pain, shoulder and knee injuries, wrists and ankles, and all joints in between. From diagnosis to recovery, the goal at Summit Orthopedics is to resolve the problem so you can enjoy your favorite activities pain-free. Call today, Summit Orthopedics, for all things orthopedics. When it comes to your skin, High Valley Dermatology has the experience and expertise to keep you looking healthy and younger. Thousands of people throughout East Idaho have been treated for acne, dark spots, skin tags, warts, skin cancer, psoriasis, rashes, and several other skin conditions. To keep your skin looking its best now and over the summer months, call High Valley Dermatology today to schedule your free skin cancer screening. 208-522-SKIN. That's 208-522-SKIN. High Valley Dermatology also offers M-Sculpt Neo Body Sculpting. It can help remove stubborn fat as well as lift, tighten, and tone. Most patients see results after their first round of treatments. And don't forget, High Valley Dermatology also offers a variety of aesthetic services like microneedling and chemical peels. If you have a skin concern or questions about M-Sculpt Neo Body Sculpting, aesthetic services, or general dermatology services, please call or visit highvalleydermatology.com.
Warmer weather's finally here. And if your walls are stuck in winter, it may be time for a change. Saw something on Pinterest and don't want a DIY disaster? Call Tailored to Painting in Idaho Falls. No pressure, free estimates, just real pros who get it right. Call 208-569-2877 or visit tailored2painting.com. Tailored to Painting. Cover your world without the mess.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, the authoritative guide to decolonizing your summer. I don't even know what that means, but okay, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Markley Van Camp and Robbins, weekdays 1 to 4 on News Talk 107.9. Your money matters. It's Wall Street Now on News Talk 107.9.
Brought to you by Frontier Credit Union. Building better lives.
From ABC News Wall Street Now, new worries about tariffs and potential shortages are reflected in the latest survey from the Institute for Supply Management, whose manufacturing index is at a 6-month low. Some companies have throttled back on deliveries. Despite those concerns, Wall Street opened the month with modest gains. The Dow Jones on Monday rose 35 points to close at 42,305. The Standard & Poor's 500 picked up 0.4%, while the Nasdaq Composite gained almost 0.7%. Some of the country's biggest airlines say congressional efforts to limit credit card fees could jeopardize your rewards card and frequent flyer miles. American, United, and Southwest say the fees charged by Visa and MasterCard make their rewards programs possible. Big Lots is coming back in a big way. Months after investment firm Gordon Brothers acquired the retailer out of bankruptcy court, it's opening more than 70 locations in 9 states on Thursday. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, homeowners criminals are targeting your equity, so you need to check your home's title right now. Just use promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com to get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 title monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should happen, they will spend up to $1 million to fix it. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com, use promo code BILL today. On this Tuesday, I'm back in the USA from the Far East. For me, a very positive development, not being nationalistic here, but the USA has far more options than any other country. There's not even a close second. Here's some quick observations from the road. We saw very few American vehicles in Japan, China, and South Korea. The trade con is absolutely a reality. The Trump tariff war has some context. All 3 airlines we used, Air Japan, China Air, Korean Airways, are better than the U.S. carriers. It shouldn't be this way, obviously. Korean Air offered the best experience of the 3. The average American lives far better than his or her counterpart in the Far East. There's absolutely no comparison. Most folks over there are jammed into small apartments. Compared to North Asian environments, we Americans are slobs. The public areas are very clean in Japan, China, and Korea, and most folks have a neat appearance, although their clothing is modest. By contrast, many American tourists look terrible. Tattoos, polyester, sweat clothing, just dismal. Not many Americans wandering around Tokyo, Kyoto, Beijing, and Seoul. Probably a good thing. Language barrier is significant, and they have thanks so much down, but little else. I've now seen most of Asia. Each country is very different. Historical bitterness remains, but not much hostility on display in public. I learned a lot. Back in a moment. President Trump signed a new executive order to lower prices on prescription drugs, as you know. But change takes time. So All Family Pharmacy is offering 20% off all meds now through June 30th. A great deal. No insurance needed, plus prescriptions and delivery are included. Just choose from more than 200 medications like ivermectin and more. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use the code BILL20 for 20% off today. allfamilypharmacy.com/bill, code BILL20. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Stand Up for Idaho's June 4th Town Hall features Ralph Van Loo. Having lived in Washington and Texas, Ralph moved to Idaho Falls 4 years ago believing Idaho was a strong red state. Ralph has some observations he'd like to share with you on what's happening in Idaho. Attendance for Stand Up for Idaho's Town Hall is free, but donations are greatly appreciated. Stand Up for Idaho's weekly Town Hall, Wednesday, June 4th. Snake River Event Center, Shiloh Inn, 780 Lindsay Boulevard, Idaho Falls, 6:30 p.m.
Mountain Crest Wealth Management is helping you with your financial future. Not knowing what changes life will bring means that it's not that difficult to veer from your retirement path. So it's always nice to travel with someone you trust. They can help align your priorities with your values, helping you make the right decisions at the right moments. Contact them today, and they can help make sure that you stay on track. In Idaho Falls, call Mountain Crest Wealth Management at 208-656-7412. That's 208-656-7412. Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC, WFAFN. Member SIPC is a registered broker-dealer and a separate non-bank affiliate of Wells Fargo & Company. Mountain Crest Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN.
Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa, hailed as one of the world's greatest guitar players. Blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa, performing live on August 6th at Portneuf Health Trust Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at etix.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience.
At Bybee's Wheel Alignment, precision is key, and your ride's their pride. At Bybee's, they do more than just alignments. They specialize in steering, suspension, brakes, tires, and AC services. Visit their newly renovated facility and experience top-notch care for your vehicle. From alignments to AC, drive confidently knowing Bybee's has you covered. They've been your best alignment shop for 100 years. Located at 251 A Street, Idaho Falls, where your best alignment awaits. Bybee's Wheel Alignment, steering you right for a century.
Double digits in the win column. Finally. Good morning. I'm Jay Reynolds. It took until June, but the Colorado Rockies finally get a win. Number 10.
Pitch is grounded up the middle. Estrada to Arcia for one. On to first for a double play. And the Rockies start the series here in Florida with a win. They stop an 8-game skid as they rally and beat the Marlins.
6-4 the final, 850 KOA in Denver. 8-game losing streak seems to be the sweet spot for Colorado. They're now 4-0 this season when taking the field with an 8-game losing streak. Hunter Goodman, 2 homers in the win. Kerry Carpenter, 3 homers for Detroit in a 13-1 rout of the White Sox. Mets get past the Dodgers 4-3 in 10 innings. Shohei Ohtani with his 23rd in the loss. Padres edge the Giants 1-0. Angels score 6 in the top of the first to beat the Red Sox 7-6 at Fenway. Brewers a 3-2 win over the Reds. Yankees didn't play yesterday, but they did have a loss. Closer Luke Weaver, hamstring injury. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, the injury coming during the series with the Dodgers this past weekend. College baseball super regionals are set. Murray State comes out of Oxford, a 12-11 win over Ole Miss for its first super regionals in program history. Ole Miss becoming the 4th SEC national seed that failed to make it out of regionals. In Hattiesburg, Southern Miss falls to Miami. Hurricanes go to the super regionals where they will see Louisville. They're among the 5 ACC teams in the round of 16. North Carolina advancing yesterday. So do national seeds Oregon State, Tennessee, and LSU. In Omaha, softball tournament down to 2, and it's Texas Tech.
All Reds first pitch swinging into right. Barker loads up. Davis to the plate. Save! Texas Tech has done it!
Walk-off sack fly. Tech beats Oklahoma, which had been vying for a 5th straight national championship. Texas Tech and Texas in the national championship series.
when you need to know.
I know Mr. Comey pretty well. He's been on a lot of Senate committees.
We're the station you can count on.
I don't know what his intent was, but it was bone deep down to the marrow stupid.
Only on News Talk 107.9.
Stimulating talk.
And
we'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, it's Brad from Now 105.1 and QP99. I'm in the studio here. I love our studios, by the way. Ranger Rick back there. There's Neal and Julie doing their thing. Hey, when you want to advertise on the radio, what do? You call the radio station, right? But what do you do when you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram and Hulu and Disney Plus and Peacock and the other TV streaming services? You can kind of click around on them and make guesses or read books or take courses online on how to do that advertising. Or you could call us at the radio station. At Sandhill Media, we take care of your local radio and digital marketing. So reach out to us at sandhillmediagroup.com and we'll make sure that your message gets heard and seen wherever your customers are.
We're back on News Talk 107.9. I'm Julie Mason. I wanted to take a quick moment to remind everyone about Town and Country Gardens. I was looking at my yard last night, and all of my lilacs have now died off. I have these beautiful these lilac bushes that just were so aromatic and beautiful for that just short time frame. And now they're gone. So it's time for me to really get on the planting of flowers and the hanging baskets, which means I will be visiting Town and Country Gardens again. They also have all of your lawn care needs. Their 4-step lawn program is amazing. You can get that started now. You haven't missed the window. If you get down there this week and get that 4-step lawn program, you can get it going step 1 and step 2 within about a week of each other, and then you'll be right on track and you'll have that beautiful green lawn that both Neal and I have. And it gets better year after year. That's the great thing. The first year is like, oh my gosh, this is green. Second year, it's more green. Third year, it's even more green. It's just beautiful thanks to Town and Country Gardens. They are located south of Idaho Falls, across from the malting plant, right there on Yellowstone Highway. All right, we got to take another quick break. Looking forward to having Representative Barb Ehardt in studio with us. But first, we need to get a look at national news.
Time to get you updated on News Talk 107.9. Here's Julie Mason.
Good morning and welcome back on this Tuesday. Here are your national and international headlines. Lawmakers in the Senate eyeing the sweeping budget and tax bill that is backed by the Trump administration. The bill aims to extend the 2017 tax cuts from President Trump's first term, as well as cut food assistance programs and make changes to Medicaid. But the bill may face an uphill climb as many Senate Republicans are concerned about aspects of the bill. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
This bill, it is really the compilation, it is this laundry list of all of President Trump's campaign promises that have some kind of legislative component. That's why there's this amount of fighting on Capitol Hill, really, amongst Republicans about this bill. Because it's so big and because it has so much in it, that's what gives Republicans the ammunition to fight each other, because there's just so much to talk about in the bill.
Health officials in Gaza say Israeli troops again opened fire on Palestinians trying to get to food distribution centers. ABC's Guy Davies is in Tel Aviv.
The Hamas-run health ministry says at least 27 people were killed and dozens more injured after a mass shooting event near an aid distribution center in southern Gaza. The IDF saying this morning they fired shots towards suspects in the area who deviated from the established aid route, but they are reviewing the incident. This is the second mass casualty event in recent days reported near these aid distribution sites run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a controversial US-backed aid group. Guy Davies, ABC News in Tel Aviv.
In Colorado, officials have now brought federal hate crime charges and attempted murder charges against 45-year-old Mohammed Solomon from yesterday's attack in Boulder. This as officials learn more about the suspect. Here's ABC News Chief Investigative Reporter Josh Margolin with details.
The feds announcing that he was likely to face hate crimes charges. And in fact, early afternoon, we did find that a complaint had been issued and he was charged with a federal hate crime, basically, for allegedly carrying out an attack on a Jewish march. And then the day ended with a press conference, and just before the press conference, a whole litany of state charges were announced.
After radar and communication outages, along with runway repairs, the Transportation Department reduced flights in and out of Newark Liberty International. Officials offered an update today, saying they're ahead of schedule. ABC's Michelle Franzen.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says construction on one runway at Newark Liberty International was completed 2 weeks early. He also says FAA training is underway to fill air traffic controller shortages.
We have 16 in training. 14 of those are experienced controllers from other airspaces. They have to get trained up in this airspace. And so depending on where they're at in the training will depend on when they roll out of training and become certified controllers for this airspace.
Duffy says flights will increase on the runway after it's certified next week. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And a dozen people injured in a stabbing attack at an Oregon homeless shelter on Sunday night. A suspect was arrested, according to police. It happened at the Union Gospel Mission in Salem. Police say officers arrived to find several individuals who had been stabbed inside the facility. They say the knife measured approximately 8 inches in length. Witnesses reportedly said the suspect was speaking to individuals in the lobby when he produced a knife and stabbed several people. Here's Trevin Upps. He's the deputy chief of Salem Police.
Officers and paramedics provided medical aid to 11 victims prior to those 11 being transported to Salem Health for further care. A 12th victim was identified as officers were interviewing other witnesses. 5 male victims who received serious injuries remain hospitalized.
Australia's Prime Minister has agreed to increase Australia's defense funding at the request of the United States. However, it's not as much as officials wanted. Scott Mayman reports.
The U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called on Australia to boost defense by another $40 billion a year, saying China poses an imminent threat to Taiwan because of recent actions in the South China Sea.
These actions reveal a lack of respect for neighbours.
Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will increase spending, but says $40 billion is too much.
We've provided an additional $10 billion.
That's more than $6 billion US. The Prime Minister will talk more with President Trump at the G7 meeting in Canada later this month. Scott Mayman, ABC News, Canberra, Australia.
Karen Reid's defense team continued to make their case on Monday as the two sides sparred over injuries seen on her ex-boyfriend, former police officer John O'Keefe. This happened on the night he died. ABC's Matt Gutman.
Prosecution alleging Reid's SUV caused marks on O'Keefe's arm, but the defense maintaining that O'Keefe was beaten inside a fellow officer's home, bitten by a dog, and then dragged outside to die in the snow. A forensic pathologist called by Reid's team testifying that the wounds were consistent with a mauling by an animal.
And Russia on Monday reportedly reeling after a surprise military assault from Ukraine damaged dozens of warplanes. ABC's Martha Raddatz spoke with Ukraine's leader on the impact of these attacks.
Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb kept secret for more than a year. The U.S. was not given any advance notice of the attack. I asked Ukraine's president about the attacks.
Do those attacks, those drone attacks on Russian aircraft, change the dynamic of the war?
Martha, the Russians are trying to conduct offensive operations on a number of directions, and unless they will stop, we will continue the operation.
And as for now, any end to this war looks a long way off.
And finally, 2 of the 10 men who broke out of jail in New Orleans last month are still on the loose. On Monday, according to ABC's Jim Ryan, a video of a man purporting to be one of them was posted on Instagram.
Law enforcers are working to verify that the video is of Antoine Massey, one of 2 inmates still on the run. In the post, the man with facial tattoos that match Massey's claims that he's been unjustly jailed.
I'm asking for help from the world,
including from rappers and the president.
Lil Wayne, Youngboy, Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, more than a dozen people have been charged with helping the 10 inmates to escape or to elude capture. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Now that's a wrap on your national and international headlines for this Tuesday. Coming up next, regional news. I'm Julie Mason with News Talk 1079.
License 00737.
What you smiling about? I get that a lot. Me? I'm Ted. Top-notch Ted, the smiley fella on the side of the top-notch heating and plumbing trucks. I'm smiling because we took a potentially painful problem and turned it into feel-good fun. A customer was hosting a big party full of guests, then poof, no hot water. And on a Sunday, no less. Uh-oh. I know despair when I hear it, and I sent a top-notch tech right away. We fixed it fast. They were so grateful they insisted we stay for the celebration, like we were family. Now you see why I'm smiling? You see, we made Top Notch our name to never forget our promise to the customer. Always perform at a top-notch level. On that Sunday, we lived up to that promise, and I couldn't be happier. When bad things happen to your furnace or pipes, call the team that wants to earn their stripes. Top Notch Heating and Plumbing. Schedule online at 4topnotchservice.com.
Thinking about doing a little remodeling? An updated kitchen complements the whole house and will add some serious value to your home. Get started now by giving the experts at R&J Custom Countertops a call. They have been custom fabricating and installing natural stone and quartz countertops since 2000. No project is too large or too small for R&J. Their years of experience and attention to detail make them the best choice. Stop by their showroom at 601 West 19th Street in Idaho Falls. R&J Custom Countertops, because quality counts.
I'm here with Devin from Rev Motorsports, now celebrating 1 year in Idaho Falls.
And a ton of work this year making the new stores perfect for our customers.
It's summertime, so everybody's thinking about getting out on the water on a new Sea-Doo or ripping across the trails with Can-Am.
Our customers know we're the place to get them, but I know there are still some out there going, wait, what's Rev Motorsports? Like, oh, the old bought Yamaha. They haven't learned yet that we're something completely new and different. We're here, and if you're thinking about buying a Can-Am, we'll take care of you, and we're not going to be beat by any other dealer.
All right, tell them what you got.
We've got a lot of Sea-Doos, including the Spark Tricks, and you can't just buy one of them, right? So Sea-Doo's giving them what they want. Cash rebates on a pair of Sea-Doos, but only now till June 30th. Plus, Can-Am cash rebates up to $2,500 on new side-by-sides. And of course, we've got the financing options for you too.
Go meet them at Rev Motorsports, 100 Maple Street in Idaho Falls.
Rev Motorsports. Rev up your life.
It's time. Presented by Java Express. The 2025 Best of Greater Idaho Falls contest nominations are on. Make your voice heard and your opinion count in the area's premier Best of contest. It's easy. You can nominate your favorite Idaho Falls area businesses in a ton of categories at bestofgreateridahoFalls.com. Nominate all of your go-to favorites now, including yourself if you own or operate a business. It all happens at bestofgreateridahoFalls.com.
Best of Greater Idaho Falls.
Warmer weather's finally here. And if your walls are stuck in winter, it may be time for a change. Saw something on Pinterest and don't want a DIY disaster? Call Tailored to Painting in Idaho Falls. No pressure, free estimates, just real pros who get it right. Call 208-569-2877 or visit tailored2painting.com. Tailored to Painting. Cover your world without the mess.
Time to get you updated on News Talk 1079.
I'm Kaylee Galaviz in the Local News 8 newsroom with what's making headlines. Some of the network systems at the College of Eastern Idaho are now shut down due to a malware attack. The college says a student accessed an external website on a personal laptop that brought malware into their network. The IT team shut down the network in an effort to protect their data. As of now, they do not believe any student or staff data has been breached. There is no timeline on when the full network will be restored, but summer courses are still in session. Now to a scam alert from the Idaho Transportation Department. If you've received a text claiming you owe money for unpaid traffic tickets, don't fall for it. The texts demand immediate payment and include fraudulent links. ITD says they will never text you about fines, demand instant payments, or threaten legal action. Odds are, if it didn't come from dmv.idaho.gov, don't trust it. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday, the Pocatello Fire Department will be conducting a burn and learn training exercise on Hawthorne Road, right across from Home Depot. This live fire drill gives firefighters and investigators critical hands-on experience to better understand how fires start, spread, and can be safely extinguished. There may be heavy smoke nearby, so drivers, you may want to plan alternate routes. In the Local News 8 newsroom, I'm Kaylee Galaviz. Your first alert weather is next.
The check of the weather, Michael Coates from Local News 8. Partly sunny skies with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s for our Tuesday, and a little bit warmer for our Wednesday with highs back to lower 70s. A slight chance of a thunderstorm, and we'll have lows falling back into the lower to mid 40s at night.
Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Please join me weeknights at 7 for the No Spin News.
Only on News Talk 107.9.
And we're back on News Talk 107.9. I'm Julie Mason, and I'm joined in studio by Representative Barb Ehardt. Barb, how are you?
Julie, I am doing fantastic. It's great to be here. It is.
Have you finally gotten some sleep? Did we wait long enough after the legislative session for you to recover?
You know what? I don't think sleep is a word in my vocabulary.
Neal and I will say on air that we watch the legislators from afar. We can see the ones that work tirelessly and the ones that are kind of just over there hanging out. Yeah. And you are definitely in the camp of the work tirelessly. So we're very grateful for your efforts.
I appreciate that. You know, even those who don't necessarily support me, what I appreciate is they will acknowledge that I will go and work. I do work. I'm not over there playing around. I'm over there doing the will of the people. I'm doing that right now, too. It hasn't stopped.
Okay, let's talk about that. So 2025 legislative session is over. You're back here in East Idaho. But what things are you working on for the upcoming legislative session in January of 2026?
Well, certainly there's legislation, and we can talk about that probably even later. But I will share that, you know, we have some interim committees that are being formed or have been formed. One of them that's going to take a lot of time, which was a little, a little bit unexpected, is I'm a co-chair for the COVID SCR 102, the COVID committee, basically looking back at Idaho and the things that basically went wrong. And so we have a committee, 5 from the House, 5 from the Senate, and we have begun that process. And we also have another committee that I'm going to be a part on, that we've been working with marriage and children and the courts, and those things will be announced soon. So we've got a couple of heavy committees that are going to be very important, I think, to Idaho, and so we'll let people know. And then even on a personal side note, I'll just let you know that this ongoing legislation and things of which you've spoken about, but the fairness of women's sports, we're still hoping that after June, and no doubt the ruling on SCMEDI out of Tennessee, that SCOTUS will take up the fairness of women's sports, which now also includes West Virginia, and I think Arizona has joined in. So we have various circuits and, the same problem. But along those lines, and with the executive orders from President Trump, you would think, and I'm sure we're going to talk about some of it, but you would think that states would have fallen in line, and they haven't. Now, Idaho did, as far as K through 12. Our Idaho High School Activities Association, updated the policy, and that's great. But boy, I'll tell you, I have been in so many conversations of people whose daughters are playing against boys. Now, these are in things such as AYSO soccer, if I'm saying that correctly, and some other events. And it's getting frustrating. I may be going to Boise for a rally and some conversations on Saturday. But one of the things that people might find interesting, I'm announcing it here first, Julie.
Lovely.
Yeah, Senator Tammy Nichols and I are basically forming an organization to help track this in Idaho. And so soon out will be Fair Sports for Idaho Girls. And through this, we hope to be able to track where boys are playing, what teams, what to do. We'll get people signed up who want to help us, who are opposed to this. And we'll see if we can create some unity and a means for Idaho to turn around and do our part to say no and refuse to either play. There are actually a number of different things that we can do. So Fair Sports for Idaho Girls, that should be launched soon. And, we hope to continue to make a difference. K through 12 in the public schools, it's a bit, I don't even know if easier is the right word, because there's still so much to do, but that's where the authority is. But once these boys have been identified, it's a farce. And these organizations, Idaho's soccer leagues, nationally, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever league, it's time to stop, And yeah. I know we're going to probably talk about high school athletes throughout the blue states who are dominating some of the track and field events. And what a sham. What a shame.
It is. And we'll get to those, probably not till the next hour. But I wanted to point out something. When we were talking, you're going to be like, where are you going, Julie? But when we were having arguments about fentanyl crossing the border, and we saw national Democrat lawmakers say there was enough fentanyl to just fill a suitcase. It is not the problem that you think it is. Well, a grain of sand of fentanyl can kill a child.
Right.
So when you put that many grains of sand in a suitcase, it's a major problem. I feel like they do exactly the same thing with the fairness in girls and women's sports conversation. It's not that many. It's not the big deal you're making it. Well, guess what? One athlete makes it a major deal because you have then altered hundreds of girls' futures.
Yep.
And I'm tired of that. There's not enough to really pay attention to this. No, one's enough. One is enough.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. And let me just take it a step farther. You know that I've testified in many states when they had brought this legislation, and inevitably I was with the testifying team, the legislator who brought the bill. And so I would be in the position to be able to answer questions when the committee would ask. And so inevitably one of the questions or points that the committee would try to make, some Democrat on the committee, is, well, how many transgender, of course, men, how many boys, how many transgenders do we have playing? And maybe it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, and then of course they'd say it's a solution in search of a problem, and I'd tell them no, just you're going to listen for the next how many hours to all these people behind us who are here to tell you that here in the very near future they want all their little boys to be able to play on the girls' team. This is your problem. And then you turn around and there'd be, and not just a room. Sometimes we were in auditoriums full of parents with their boys to be girls. So no, this is pervasive, and we've allowed it to happen instead of stopping it where we could have. And it's the blue states.
Mm-hmm. I so appreciate that you have worked so tirelessly to get legislation passed, and it's made a massive difference. But in the commercial break, you and I were talking about the cultural fight that we're fighting.
Yep.
Can we fight it with just legislation? What are other ways we can fight this cultural fight above and beyond the work that you do that's so important?
That is such an excellent question. This is a conversation that I've been having actually with parents and pastors, particularly in the Boise area right now. Literally, a parent said, can't you just pass more legislation? Because they're so scared. And I told him, listen, it's time that parents step up. Courage begets courage. We're doing our part. No, we cannot fight it by ourselves. We need parents and adults to be courageous. And there has been so much courage throughout the United States, especially when you look over in Virginia and Loudoun County and what had happened over there, and the threat of the one father being thrown into jail, and just so many different things, and that led to parents. With school boards calling parents terrorists, and the DOJ behind that. Yeah. What a farce. This is not, we need to recognize these are not now just easy side issues. These are serious threats to our republic, not our democracy, but our republic. And that's why it's important that people take courage, stand up. And then I have parents tell me, well, I don't really want to we don't want to ruin our daughter's chance to play. Listen, you're ruining her entire potential future if you don't stand up. So, yes, it's that and more, Julie, and we can talk about that as we go, too.
All right. Well, we've got so much. We're going to talk with Barb about Caitlin Clark on a couple of different issues. Brittany Griner and Clay Travis, they've both got issues with Kate. Is she a lightning rod or what? This girl is amazing.
I love Caitlin.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to get your take on the MLB expanding to a women's softball league. So we'll chat about that also. But we've got to take a commercial break. Go ahead and shoot Barb a text or me a text on the Stones Automotive Group call-in text line. That number is 208-542-1079. Any questions you have for Barb, we'll make sure she gets them. And we got to take a break. Wall Street Now is coming up next.
Your money matters. It's Wall Street Now on News Talk 1079.
Brought to you by Frontier Credit Union. Building better lives.
From ABC News, Wall Street Now. New worries about tariffs and potential shortages are reflected in the latest survey from the Institute for Supply Management, whose manufacturing index is at a 6-month low. Some companies have throttled back on deliveries. Despite those concerns, Wall Street opened the month with modest gains. The Dow Jones on Monday rose 35 points to close at 42,305. The Standard & Poor's 500 picked up 0.4%, while the NASDAQ Composite gained almost 0.7%. Some of the country's biggest airlines say congressional efforts to limit credit card fees could jeopardize your rewards card and frequent flyer miles. American, United, and Southwest say the fees charged by Visa and MasterCard make their rewards programs possible. Big Lots is coming back in a big way. Months after investment firm Gordon Brothers acquired the retailer out of bankruptcy court, it's opening more than 70 locations in 9 states on Thursday. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
At Idaho State Police, safety is our top gear, and at Idaho Star, you'll star in safe riding. Join our 5th annual Shiny Side Up Motorcycle Rally June 7th at Hillcrest High. Meet at Shelley Park at 9 a.m. and ride out at 10 a.m. Brush up on your skills with our spring refresher and biker rodeo beginners to experts invited. Test for your motorcycle endorsement for just $25. No pre-registration needed, just your permit, license, helmet, and insurance. Ride smart, ride safe. Idaho State Police, your safety, our mission.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. And now through June 30th, get zero down, 0% APR for 84 months on select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit Mountain West Equipment in Idaho Falls, Chubbuck, and Rexburg, or at MountainWestEquipment.com. That's MountainWestEquipment.com.
Now, local sports with John Balgini on News Talk 107.9.
The Idaho Falls Chuckers open a 6-game series in Grand Junction, Colorado tonight, looking to improve on their 9-3 record, which is the second best in the Pioneer League. Grand Junction, on the other hand, has a 3-win, 9-loss record. Chuckers shortstop Anthony Mata has the second best batting average in the league at a sizzling .512, and pitcher Connor Harrison tops the league in wins and earned run average. The Chuckers return home 1 week from tonight for a 3-game set with the Boise Hawks, who, by the way, own a 7-game win streak. Meanwhile, the Idaho Falls Bandits Legion team opens its home season tonight at Melaleuca Field with a doubleheader against the Twin Falls Cowboys. First game set for 5 o'clock. And finally, former Blackfoot Bronco Dax Whitney took the mound for the Oregon State Beavers against TCU over the weekend. He pitched 6 innings, striking out 12 as the Beavers defeated TCU. Whitney has had an outstanding freshman season against D1 teams with a 6-3 record, 101 strikeouts in only 66 innings. Oregon State currently ranked number 8 in the country.
Because you deserve to be informed.
Yeah, for walking on the beach with my wife, so.
Get the latest developments here.
I don't know how we ended up here. It never occurred to me that it was any kind of controversial thing, but that's the time we live in.
News Talk 107.9.
And we're back on the Neil Larson Show. I am Julie Mason, joined with Barb Ehardt, Representative Ehardt, but she's Barb for a good portion of the next hour because we're going to be talking sports and all things sports and women. Before we get to anything more, though, Barb, I wanted to tell you about Grand Peaks Prime Meats. I don't know if you've had a chance to get any of your meat from there, but it is phenomenal. The quality of the meat is amazing. And we get listener after listener after listener who believes in us and says, yeah, I'm going to go try that, who love Grand Peaks Prime Meats. Have you been there yet?
I hate to tell you, I haven't. I promise I wanted to. My barbecuer isn't working. I can't cook, so I need to barbecue.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because they have an amazing grilling package that is absolutely one of Neil's favorites because it comes with brats and all the things you need to do a barbecue. It's amazing. You can see that grilling package at gpprimemeats.com. That's not the only one there. They have a whole bunch of packages. And then you can just purchase individual cuts of beef and pork and bacon, like all of the meats. Again, that's GP Prime Meats. They're friends of ours. They should be friends of yours, and delivery is free in the Idaho Falls area. And if you're out of Idaho Falls, it's just a small surcharge, so it's super easy to take part in all that they have. All right. So, Barb, I was thinking, you've really worked this system really, really well. You leave for January, February, March. And
Dating talk.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. We will keep in mind and remember that you and I have the ability and the dignity and the right to make our own decisions and determine our own destiny.
This hour of the Neil Larson Show is brought to you by Crystal Water. The difference is clear with Crystal Water.
Your world, your country, your community, and you. Let's talk about it now on The Neal Larson Show with co-host Julie Mason.
And good morning. It is the Neal Larson Show, but there is no Neal Larson today. He's up in Alaska. He has made it safe for everybody who's wondering where he's at. He moved his good friend Steve. Well, Steve lived in Alaska. He's moving his good friend Steve home. But they had to take a truck and a trailer up to Alaska in order for that to happen. And so they made it safely late last night. I'm sure he's sleeping in this morning. Plus, there's a 2-hour time delay for us. So he is all is well in Neal's world. And hopefully he gets out and gets to see some of the beautiful sights in Anchorage. But for the hour, Representative Barb Ehardt has been so willing to join me. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning, Julie. Great to be here. And yes, I hope Neal's enjoying Alaska. I've been there in the winter, but boy, I'd love to be there in the summer.
He said it was absolutely beautiful. The drive was just breathtaking. Long. Very long. It took him 4.5 days.
Oh, man.
It's a long drive, and he has to make it again here in about 3 days. He's turning around and coming right back.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he will be, as our general manager here at Sandhill Media told me via text, I think he will be cured of road trips for a minute after this one. All right, Barb, I'm going to do something that is a little unconventional here, but I think it's important to this conversation that we're going to have about fairness in girls and women's sports. New York Post put out an article just yesterday listing all of the various places where trans athletes infiltrated girls' sports over the weekend. I'm going to do a quick rundown of it. I say this is unconventional because it's long. You're going to be like, and there's another, and there's another, and there's another. But here we go. We're in California with this one. Trans athlete A.B. Hernandez, she was 16. He, trans athlete, took first place in the girls' high and triple jump events in California's high school championship. That happened on Saturday.
And second in the long jump.
Second in the long jump, which makes me go, this man, this young boy, is not that good of an athlete. Like, in the long jump, he should be killing these girls, but took second in the long jump. So there's that. There's probably a reason that we can tie back there that he is infiltrating girls' sports for this. When Hernandez took the top podium spot with the biological female athletes who finished second, thanks to the change to the California Interscholastic Federation rules that you mentioned in the last hour that California is going against what Trump asked them to do. So he took the podium. The girls waited for him to get off, and then they went up and took their pictures on there. And there was tons of cheering from the crowd because the crowd realized the true winners actually, after the awards ceremony, took the podium. Okay, that's just one. Next one, Shirley, New York. A 6-foot-tall, 14-year-old freshman trans athlete stirred controversy by joining the varsity track team at William Floyd High School in Long Island in March. This boy is not even taking hormone replacement therapy.
Most don't.
Yeah. So here he is and 6 foot tall at 14 years old.
Yep.
So trans athlete on the freshman team. Then we've got Portland, Oregon. This one happened Saturday, just like the California one. We had 2 female athletes get 3rd and 4th place, Alexa Anderson and Reese Eckerd. They were both seniors. They refused to stand on the podium with Leah Rose. Yep. That's a trans athlete who took 5th place.
Yep.
So they even made a stand with someone who got a lesser medal than them. Yep. They said, we're not going to stand on the podium.
And they turned their back. Mm-hmm. And one of the ushers basically ushered them out of the way so they wouldn't be in the picture.
Yeah.
I wish they had just stood their ground.
Yeah. I mean, they were being respectful to the authority figure that was on the track with them.
Yeah,
but
the confused authority figure that would allow this to happen. But yes.
Yep. Okay, I've got more. Are you ready?
Yes, keep going.
Tacoma, Washington, on Saturday also. So this is the reason I'm reading all of this, because there's people out there say it's not happening.
Oh, it's all over.
I'm mentioning 3 on Saturday. Veronica Garcia, he, a transgender 17-year-old representing Mount Tahoma High School in Tacoma, Washington, won the Class 2A 400-meter dash title for the 2nd consecutive time. So this has happened twice for this transgender athlete. This is the part I wanted to read in this version of craziness. Garcia told the Seattle Times that booze from the crowd acted as fuel for him. It made me angry, but not angry as in I wanted to give up, but angry as in I'm going to push. I hope they get a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year the reaction was incredibly loud.
Yeah.
So, yep.
We've got more. Concord, New Hampshire. This one happened back in October 2024. A female soccer player in Bishop Brady Catholic High School pulled out of a game against Kearsarge Regional High School in protest over a transgender competitor. We got Shelton, Washington. This one happened in February. It was a basketball game near and dear to your heart. It was a civil rights complaint over a transgender player on Shelton's team. This was the quote given to a local news outlet. Anyone that invades my privacy and protection as a girl, that is not okay. That was from a 15-year-old female athlete who filed the complaint. Okay, brave, right?
Absolutely.
So brave.
Absolutely.
This one's in San Francisco, California. Another basketball one. A transgender basketball player scored 29 points for San Francisco Waldorf High School girls team in January, leading to a 59-33 win over the Jewish Community High School. Bridgeport, West Virginia. Transgender athlete Becky Pepper Jackson, a freshman at Bridgeport High School in Bridgeport, West Virginia, was the first transgender athlete to compete in her state's track championships in May. She won bronze, by the way. Or he won bronze, by the way. Plymouth, New Hampshire. At the beginning of the school year, a federal judge temporarily overruled former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu's ban, barring trans athletes in grades 5 through 12 from teams that align with their chosen gender identity. So that soccer player, Parker Terrell, who is now 16, was able to participate via an emergency order. Two more. Champlin, Minnesota. In May, reigning state softball champion Rogers High School was defeated by Champlin Park High School after their transgender pitcher threw 14 shutout innings. I'm sure you've seen that video.
I have. It's disturbing, actually.
It's really disturbing the ability of that young man to throw the ball.
Yep.
Last one, Riverside, California. A female track co-captain at Martin Luther King High School alleged that she lost her varsity spot to a transgender athlete who transferred into her school.
Yep.
Okay, I've just listed, and this was just a list that New York Post compiled. There are more than this.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much more.
Tell me how you feel after I say all of that.
You know, it was funny in 2020, and I think to a certain extent we even had a little bit of the conversation, but when I was first bringing this legislation, people didn't understand. And I had people texting me like, you know, we support you, part of it. They're also listening to the other side and what this meant, which was complete red herring and misdirection. And they're just like, oh, okay, we just don't get it. And it wasn't long after that, a year or two later, people were like, oh, thank you. We get it. How did you know? And, it really didn't. I think I've told you before that, it was maybe even 2010-ish or earlier that it became pretty evident that when we started to use this idea of how we identify, that why wouldn't guys identify merely for the sake of helping them get through university, college with a scholarship and be able to take a spot on a gals team because it'd be so easy. And at that time, no one questioned the fact that guys had better ability than gals. Like, it's not even a question. Now, we're not talking about a guy that never gets off the sofa. Duh. We're talking about those who play. They don't even have to be exceptional in order to take the gal spot. Let me just remind everybody, if you're in this conversation with somebody and they want to argue the other way, that these boys should be able to identify as girls and that there's really no difference, then tell me this. Why don't we see gals who identify now as guys dominating in sports somewhere? Why don't we see it? Where are they? Tell me. Show me the evidence. You can't, because there isn't any, because it doesn't happen, because the hormone therapy test, none of that equals what the body naturally creates. One's authentic self. One's authentic. That's why it's so funky to listen to and kidnap a word and talk it in a language they don't even understand. One's authentic self is who we are and how the Lord made us. Everything else is just pretend.
I couldn't agree more. We just got a text from somebody saying, you keep reading that they won, but didn't they actually steal the medal?
Yeah.
And that is such a good point, because it's not authentic. It was a steal.
It is a steal. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so where does this stand? Like we were talking about with the New York Post article, California has gone against what President Trump has signed by executive order. So what kind of options do these individuals, they're going to have to file court cases to get past this because the states refuse to comply with the executive order?
Kind of. It's interesting because Trump made a big deal about what happened in California. And if you were following any of that, then you see California did a last-ditch effort to correct the ship, so to speak. So they kind of had two categories. So any of the boys who had competed against gals and had displaced them, all those gals were able to come. So if it was just one place, if, AB won, then going back to his districts, the gal that should have been able to be there, that, and I don't know how far, but they took the top 6, top 3, but they allowed that gal to come to state and participate. Then at state, they allowed apparently the winners, the gals, to also get medals for first place. So they were last minute trying to do something to counter the fact that Trump is going to remove federal, money, which
like a shared medal.
Exactly. Something, like that, almost as, another category. And if that's the case, folks, just put the guys with the guys where the guys go and give them some special medal. Let them run with the guys and take last place and receive a little medal, a little pat on the back, a little token. Thank you for being here. Because I can't even hide my disdain anymore. This trans movement has also become very militant, whether it's through the sports or, anything outside of sports.
Well, we have several shootings that have happened with trans shooters.
Absolutely, and the stuff they're on, they're being doped up, junked up, and they can't control their emotions. It's not natural, hormones, coursing through the veins, and they're angry people, and they're not actually being helped with the problem they have. So they're even angrier, and it's everybody's fault but theirs, and people that won't accept them because, well, of course, they're not going to accept you because that's not who you are. Especially when you act militant. When you try to force this on society, do it if you want to do it for you, but don't expect us to do the same. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean,
It's interesting, that quote that I read by the one trans athlete where he said, "Get a life."
Yep.
I don't understand that because this is their life. They're living an authentic life. These are girls competing who've practiced to an expert level in order to reach the state championships. And because you feel differently, you're going to tell them to get a life.
Yep.
It just does.
It reeks of irony and of disdain and of everything that's wrong. We all know it. And Democrats know it. Obviously, it's an 80-20 issue. I think it's even bigger than that. But the problem with Democrats and those who are forced, I'm going to use the word forced, to support this politically, is because of their donors. Look at the people that donate. Look at the amount of power behind the ACLU and some of these other organizations, GLAAD and all of this. I mean, I'll tell you what, I've seen it firsthand, even of our Idaho state legislative body, that if the Democrats at all stray, off the farm, I'll tell you what, they get attacked, and it's militant, and it can be scary. So,
do you have any upcoming trips planned to help with this legislation?
At this point, no. The low hanging fruit has been reached, and Georgia we have 26 states that have passed this. There will be more. It's going to be a continued battle, but I think right now a lot of our attention, obviously, is on the Senate. I don't know how we get there short of getting rid of some of the senators who won't vote for this. And it's on SCOTUS, and if SCOTUS takes this up, of course, I'll be there. And there'll be, just like in, 28, there'll be a big rally. But, as we, hopefully get it heard and then await the court's decision. So in the meantime, what we have to keep doing is empowering parents. You had asked, how do we fight this? I think the quickest way we can file lawsuits and all. As we know, those could be tied up for the rest of that athlete's career in high school. We fight it by refusing to play. If you do, those who are running track, I've said this before, we've done it at places where I've been with, part of our coalition. One of the things I've said is, hey, parents, somebody bring your own medals. When it's time for the medal presentation, everybody just let the guy go up there and do their thing.
Solo. Walk up there alone.
Solo, yep. And then make the announcement. People, if you want, join us in 5 minutes here or over there or wherever it is for the real medal presentation, and then present the medals to those who won in the proper order that they won. I mean, there are just different things that we can do. We don't have to play along with them. We can create our own rules. I just didn't have your size, so I'm going to bring you something else. Support XXXY. This is my friend Jennifer Say, who she's been on Fox a lot now, but she used to be the CEO of Levi and had been a USA gymnast, part of all of that. She's a little bit older, but, this is an authentic brand for, made for women. Some of the shirts that we've bought a lot of these. We're going to see if we can get disperse some of them as we had tried to do for Boise State volleyball. But, also one of the shirts that I like that's out now is Boycott.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you like that? Like,
it's great.
I love that. So there are things we can do, but people need to just take courage. And yes, unfortunately, things aren't fair, but it's not fair if you had to compete against a guy. So what if you didn't compete in, one time? Like we're telling the parents in Boise with the soccer teams have to play against the boy. Don't play. Well, then they'll miss out on the game. So what? Mm-hmm. Stand the freak
There's
up.
got to be an instant stand versus delayed.
Yep.
I'm using the word in my mind. I keep thinking gratification, but it's not gratification. It's the delayed would be like the Supreme Court case, and that is actual justice happening.
Right.
But we do know justice takes a long time.
Yes.
So the instant justice would be the one that you can enact, which is don't play in the game or hold that separate awards ceremony.
Yep.
And you want to make waves. The awards ceremony would absolutely do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got a text. Somebody wants that XXXY shirt. How do they purchase a shirt that looks like that?
You know what? I'll get them some of that information. But Jennifer Say SEY on her XXXY can get it, but I should get some and make them available here.
Oh, that would be amazing.
But and I'll tell you, just feel it. The quality of this shirt is phenomenal. You won't get a better shirt.
Oh, it's a great shirt, you guys. If you are wanting one, again, her name's Jennifer Say, SEY.
Yep.
And I bet if you just look her up, it's there. So, yeah.
You and Neal should have her on the radio show.
Oh, that would be...
Well,
you'll make that happen?
I'll make it happen.
We would love to have that happen.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Okay, we've got so much more to chat about on the radio show here with Representative Barb Ehardt. Of course, I want to get her take on several sports controversies that are happening, particularly in the WNBA, which... you're the closest I've got to the WNBA, and I trust your opinion. All right, we'll be back after this break.
Live, local, stimulating talk for East Idaho. The Neal Larson Show on News Talk 107.9.
When it comes to your skin, High Valley Dermatology has the experience and expertise to keep you looking healthy and younger. Thousands of people throughout East Idaho have been treated for acne, dark spots, skin tags, warts, skin cancer, psoriasis, rashes, and several other skin conditions. To keep your skin looking its best now and over the summer months, call High Valley Dermatology today to schedule your free skin cancer screening. 208-522-SKIN. That's 208-522-SKIN. High Valley Dermatology also offers M-Sculpt Neo Body Sculpting. It can help remove stubborn fat as well as lift, tighten, and tone. Most patients see results after their first round of treatments. And don't forget, High Valley Dermatology also offers a variety of aesthetic services like microneedling and chemical peels. If you have a skin concern or questions about M-Sculpt Neo Body Sculpting, aesthetic services, or general dermatology services, please call or visit highvalleydermatology.com.
Infinity Coins presents Silver Secrets. Here's a super secret about scrap gold. Infinity Coins is one of the only shops that deal in gold fillings. Yeah, we'll give you the best bang for your buck on damaged, broken, or unwanted gold, including them golden grills. And since gold prices are near an all-time high, maybe it's time you appraise those pimped out pearly whites. Just do us a favor. Before you decide to trade in Grandpa's golden gobbers, make sure they're not still attached. Infinity Coins. Change is good.
Thinking about doing a little remodeling? An updated kitchen complements the whole house and will add some serious value to your home. Get started now by giving the experts at R&J Custom Countertops a call call. They have been custom fabricating and installing natural stone and quartz countertops since 2000. No project is too large or too small for R&J. Their years of experience and attention to detail make them the best choice. Stop by their showroom at 601 West 19th Street in Idaho Falls. R&J Custom Countertops, because quality counts.
License 00737. What you smiling about? I get that a lot. Me? I'm Ted. Top-notch Ted, the smiley fella on the side of the top-notch heating and plumbing trucks. I'm smiling because we took a potentially painful problem and turned it into feel-good fun. A customer was hosting a big party full of guests, then poof, no hot water. And on a Sunday, no less. Uh-oh. I know despair when I hear it, and I sent a top-notch tech right away. We fixed it fast. They were so grateful they insisted we stay for the celebration, like we were family. Now you see why I'm smiling? You see, we made Top Notch our name to never forget our promise to the customer. Always perform at a top-notch level. On that Sunday, we lived up to that promise, and I couldn't be happier. When bad things happen to your furnace or pipes, call the team that wants to earn their stripes. Top Notch Heating and Plumbing. Schedule online at 4topnotchservice.com.
East Idaho Community Emergency Response Teams are looking to train volunteers in Region 7 counties, including Bonneville, Jefferson, Madison, Teton, Fremont, Custer, and Lemhi counties. If you want to be ready to respond in a disaster or crisis, this 20-hour training is for you. Anyone interested can come and learn about general preparedness, fire safety, and search and rescue. Volunteering afterward is not mandatory, but this is a great opportunity to get involved, and you may save someone's life one day. Sign up at easternidaho.cert.org.
Wonder what it's really like to be in law enforcement? Bonneville County Sheriff's Office Teen Leadership and Career Day Camp is calling your name. This free 4-day camp is packed with real law enforcement action. SWAT and bomb squad demos, dive experiences, cold cases, emergency driving, even a jail tour. It's your chance to get hands-on and behind the scenes. Participate the week of June 2nd or the week of June 9th. Applications open now to teens entering 9th grade through recent grads. For more info or to apply, go to BonnevilleSheriff.com and search Teen Career Camp.
News Talk 1079, stimulating talk for East Idaho.
And we're back on News Talk 1079, joined in studio by Representative Barb Ehardt. I wanted to read a couple of the texts that we have gotten, of many, dozens. So thank you for texting in on the Stones Automotive Group call and text line. This first one, it says, I love Barb. As busy as she is, she took time to try to coach my son and his buddies so they could have a basketball team. Love what she's doing for the girls and representing real Idahoans. Couldn't agree more. Also, someone sent us the link for the xxxyathletics.com. If you type in just XXXY Athletics on your search bar engine, you will find this link. It's right there. Okay, then this last one. Someone's asking, can you tell me what is going on with the Boise soccer team again? I missed it, but I have a daughter playing soccer, so she has some interest in this. So just give a brief rundown of what's happening with the boys soccer team in Boise.
No, it's the gals. It's the AYSO, if I'm saying that right, but just the league on which it's not through K through 12, not through public school, but just the soccer league, and it's just being infiltrated with boys. Posing as girls, and the parents are tired of it. And so yet they kind of want legislation. There's no legislation for that right now. We have to take a stand.
Yeah, can you draft legislation that can affect private teams like that? I mean, public school is one issue because it's public funds. Is there a legislative option for working into private teams?
Well, I don't necessarily think so, but I think the same principles apply. And there are other things that we can do. We're getting closer to having this cheek swab test that right away will detect, yeah, you got the Y, you're a guy, kind of results. But
and it will be
there.
fast, like a pregnancy test, like it.
We're getting there. We're not quite there, but yes, where that could be done, but it would be would the league allow and enforce that, or are we so into this idea that boys should be able to take girls' spots, even though it doesn't go the other way? So, but we're trying to help the parents along and help them take courage and what are their options, including get yourself on boards, people. Quit letting the other side be the board members. We've got to start thinking forward.
Yeah. And one more text before we talk about Brittany Griner. Somebody, I don't have the text in front of me because, like I said, there's been dozens, but somebody asked the question, do these trans athletes, these boys, always win, or are there cases where girls win? And when I was referencing all the different sporting events from the New York Post article, there were a couple where the trans athlete loses to the girl. On the college level, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the college level, we see the trans athletes because they're so much superior and they're taking a college scholarship. On the high school level, we see these boys infiltrating girls' sports that may not even have a shot at a college scholarship, but they just want to get in there and get a medal somehow because they won't even come close to competing with the boys' sports. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Well, I don't even know if for all of them it's about medals. I think there's obviously something confused in their thinking, and they want to be in sports. I mean, just a normal kid that may want to be in sports and now identify as female. So I should be able to be in your sports, and you can't tell me no, because if you do, my militant mom's going to go right after you, and my militant following's going to, be in your gym, and we're going to follow you home. I mean, anymore, it's literally become that way. So people are afraid to say anything, and to what extent they are wanting the medals, I don't know. But I will tell you something else, and this is something that had learned with June Eastwood, who had been the runner at Montana, competing in the Big Sky at the time when I was bringing this legislation in 2020. Athlete. Yeah, June had been competed 3 years for the University of Montana as John, and then same with Leah Thomas. Hey, these guys, and we have complete testimony. One from a gal, I forget Linnea's last name. These guys have handlers, and they purposely did not go out and win everything they could win. Leah Thomas could have won more. I watched Leah swim. Leah held back, and June Eastwood certainly did. As a matter of fact, when June was running in the Big Sky, literally heard on multiple times, June, slow down, you're going too fast right now, and
verbally being coached,
so June did not win a ton in the Big Sky until the indoor mile, whatever, they 1600, and you can watch this on the tape. June annihilated the competition. June would have been the first NCAA Division I national champion, but we had COVID and it shut it all down. So June.
What? I always try to find the silver linings for COVID. I can add that one to the list.
Yeah, June got denied a national championship. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they have handlers, and they know that if they go out and dominate like they could, that the pushback would be far greater and would slow the path for others to come. Seriously. So they win just enough.
Okay. All right. Let's switch to Brittany Griner. So I got to kind of tell a little bit of backstory, and you fill in if I miss any of what was going on here. We covered it here. The game, I think it was the opening night game between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. A phantom call of it being like a technical foul. So she fouled her, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Caitlin fouled her, but it was because she had a free slot to the basket, and the foul itself wasn't hard. They felt like there's a little bit extra, push at the end, but it wasn't. Yeah,
we didn't feel here that it was technical worthy. So, but the fallout from that was that Angel Reese said that people were making racial slurs and noises at her from the crowd. Well, immediately the WNBA came right out.
Yep.
Did an investigation. Then after a couple of weeks or a week and a half, they said, no, there was no evidence of that. That didn't happen. Well, during all of that, Caitlin Clark played Brittany Griner. Now, remember, Brittany Griner is the one that we did the horrible deal with, getting her back from Russia. She got caught with weed in her bag. We traded like a murderer.
Yeah.
Yes, for Brittany Griner. She comes back. Caitlin Clark and Brittany Griner are playing against each other. Brittany Griner becomes frustrated. She calls, and this you can hear it on the audio. She calls Caitlin Clark effing trash, but she uses the full word, an effing white girl.
White girl, yeah.
The WNBA has been silent about that. So
Yeah.
I would love your opinion on where the WNBA is going wrong right now. Because I'm sure you would love to see it flourish.
Oh, absolutely. It's finally exciting. And I've been a fan, not a huge fan, but a fan of the WNBA from its inception. I was a huge Lisa Leslie fan. I even recruited Lisa Leslie with zero probability of getting her when she's at Morningside on her way to USC. But just watching what happened. Hey, I was even... what Brittany Griner did was wrong, but the punishment didn't fit the crime. So, I felt badly for, in Russia, what we did, that was wrong too with the trade. And also there's a little bit of, trying to hold out for her. But this idea that we're just going to close our eyes to the blatant racism that's taking place in the WNBA. I really do think that at the beginning, in the off season, the commissioner, I'm going to forget his name right now, of the NBA, I do think he did get involved and told the WNBA they've got to start cleaning things up. You don't take your best asset, your cash cow, your golden egg, and let them destroy her through fouls and blatant, no calls and on and on.
She gets beat up on that floor.
Yeah, she really has, and you certainly haven't seen the same thing with Paige Beckner, the current number one pick this year out of UConn, kind of the darling. It's harder for me to be a Paige Beckner fan, though I kind of was at one point, but just because of the inconsistent treatment. And Caitlin, she'll tone down the complaining. I think that things will start to, I think things will start to turn her way, but I think Brittany Griner and what she's done and the play that it's received, it's only going to be to her own detriment. I think we're going to see this tide change. I really do.
Yeah, I saw some headlines that they were threatening her with a fine.
Yeah.
$150,000. That's a massive fine for
the WNBA.
For the
it is
WNBA.
when their fines range from $100 to $200 to $300. Literally, just $200. Yeah, and they should just snap it right on her, because that's absolutely uncalled for. You got to control your emotions better than that.
Yeah, and a really great way to put an end to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
send that message.
Yeah. Okay, give people an idea who don't follow the WNBA. How good is Caitlin Clark?
Oh my goodness. Caitlin Clark she's the best thing to have happened to the WNBA since its inception. Because, I look back on some of the players that people won't necessarily remember. Rebecca Lobo, at a time I used to like Cheryl Swoops, no longer, but Lisa Leslie, those guys were good. They represented the USA, internationally and at the Olympics, but Caitlin is literally in the category of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. She's that good. And she's exciting. And I'm not easily, I've watched thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of basketball and gals playing. And I have not seen a player that exciting. And I've always liked a little bit of, the edginess too. Like I was a Reggie Miller, there's a time Cheryl Miller and his sister, knew each other and were friends. I like that edginess. So, I do like that. Somebody that's in there and competing and willing to get the crowd. That's something get the crowd going. But it's just her game too. She's good.
And it's fair to say that you're okay with the tough play that is happening on the floor in the WNBA. You just want the fouls to be called fairly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Got to take a quick break. I think we've got bottom hour of the news coming up next. And we'll be back with Representative Barb Ehardt on News Talk 1079.
Live, local, stimulating talk for East Idaho.
The Neal Larson Show podcast. Grab it every day at newstalk1079.com. Time to get you updated on News Talk 1079.
I'm Kaylee Galaviz in the local News 8 newsroom with what's making headlines. Some of the network systems at the College of Eastern Idaho are now shut down due to a malware attack. The college says a student accessed an external website on a personal laptop that brought malware into their network. The IT team shut down the network in an effort to protect their data. As of now, they do not believe any student or staff data has been breached. There is no timeline on when the full network will be restored, but summer courses are still in session. Now to a scam alert from the Idaho Transportation Department. If you've received a text claiming you owe money for unpaid traffic tickets, don't fall for it. The texts demand immediate payment and include fraudulent links. ITD says they will never text you about fines, demand instant payments, or threaten legal action. Odds are, if it didn't come from dmv.idaho.gov, don't trust it. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday, the Pocatello Fire Department will be conducting a burn and learn training exercise on Hawthorne Road, right across from Home Depot. This live fire drill gives firefighters and investigators critical hands-on experience to better understand how fires start, spread, and can be safely extinguished. There may be heavy smoke nearby, so drivers, you may want to plan alternate routes. In the local News 8 newsroom, I'm Kaylee Galaviz. Your First Alert weather is next.
For the check of the weather, Michael Coates from Local News 8. Partly sunny skies with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s for our Tuesday, and a little bit warmer for our Wednesday with highs back to lower 70s. A slight chance of a thunderstorm, and we'll have lows falling back into the lower to mid 40s at night.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Palestinian health officials and witnesses say Israeli forces fired at crowds of people headed toward an aid distribution site in Gaza. 27 people were killed, nearly 200 wounded. The UN says the Israeli and U.S.-backed humanitarian sites have not been addressing Gaza's mounting hunger crisis. Police in Boulder, Colorado, continuing to investigate the firebomb attack that wounded a dozen people. The suspect, Mohammed Salman, had been planning the attack for at least a year, police say. President Trump's 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports are set to take effect tomorrow. ABC's Rachel Scott.
The Trump administration is showing no signs of backing off of these steep and sweeping tariffs, even amid all of these court challenges, arguing that it is disrupting ongoing negotiations. So about 60 days into this trade war now, the U.S. has only announced a deal with one country, the U.K.
Newark Mayor Ras Baraka has sued New Jersey's top prosecutor after being arrested at an immigration detention facility. This is ABC News.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show, the authoritative guide to decolonizing your summer. I don't even know what that means, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, weekdays 1 to 4 on News Talk 107.9.
Want to protect your trees and shrubs from leaf eating and trunk boring insects? Fertilome Tree and Shrub Drench is the answer. No need to spray. Just mix with water in a bucket and pour around the base of your tree, and you'll have season-long bug control with one application. Stop into Sunnyside Gardens, and with their professional help and Fertilome, you'll have healthy bug-free trees and shrubs all year. At Sunnyside Gardens, certified nursery professionals are available to answer all your lawn care questions. 3240 East Sunnyside Road in Idaho Falls. Live life in color.
Warmer weather's finally here. And if your walls are stuck in winter, it may be time for a change. Saw something on Pinterest and don't want a DIY disaster? Call Tailored to Painting in Idaho Falls. No pressure, free estimates, just real pros who get it right. Call 208-569-2877 or visit tailored2painting.com. Tailored to Painting. Cover your world without the mess.
Hi, I'm Wendy, co-founder of Bell Sculpt, here with Dr. Deliski, one of our board-certified surgeons. Dr. Deliski, let's talk about our new mommy makeovers.
Well, whether you're looking for a natural approach with minimally invasive Bell Sculpt and fat transfer, or a more traditional approach with a tummy tuck and breast implants, we have the perfect solution for you.
Each makeover is customized to your goals so you can look and feel your best. Ready to feel confident again? Visit bellsculpt.fm to book your consultation today.
Bell Sculpt, your body, your way.
Bonneville County Sheriff's Office is excited to announce the new Idaho Sheriff Connect app. Idaho Sheriff Connect instantly connects you to information and resources. With a touch of a button, find online crime reporting and tip submission, jail information and inmate search, sex offender registry, help with licenses, IDs and weapon permits, records, mental health resources, and job opportunities. Also, choose push notifications for important safety information during emergencies and events, media releases, and more. Download Idaho Sheriff Connect today. Just search Idaho Sheriff Connect in any app store.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton here. Join us weekdays 10 to 1 only on News Talk 107.9. Stimulating talk for East Idaho.
And we're back on News Talk 107.9. I'm Julie Mason on the Neil Larson Show. Neil Larson is not here. He's up in Alaska. But I have a wonderful guest in studio with me. Representative Barb Ehardt is joining me. And we were chatting through the commercial break, and we decided we wanted to talk about the legislative wins. But really quick, we got a text. I'm going to have you answer it. Please ask Representative Ehardt if Clay Travis can beat Angel Reese one-on-one.
I texted into you guys the other day on this, didn't I? Yes, Clay Travis could. Let me tell you why. It's on basketball, positioning also matters. So I don't know if you guys have really followed Angel, and absolutely, definitely a phenomenal rebounder. She has a terrible shot. She has a terrible shot around the basket. She has a terrible percentage. The other day around the basket, she went 0 for 8, 3 for 11. She can't hit the broadside of a barn, and so she gets her own rebound and puts it up 14 times. Not quite. I mean, she definitely has defensive value.
Her rebound stat.
Without a doubt. And I mean, she's not trying to. I don't believe she's trying to pad stats. She literally can't make the basket. But so when you play one-on-one, you start there at the top of the key. Nobody starts under the basket. So not only do you have to make the basket, but you have to get yourself from the top of the key to the basket. And these are not Angel's forte. She's a post. She works best down around the basket. Clay would be able to not only guard her out front, but also he would be able to, in my opinion, go by her with the basketball. So, yeah, I would not bet in Angel's corner on that.
Yeah, with the way the game's set up on that, 15 minutes or they're played to 15. That's what it would be, huh? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Legislative wins from the 2025 legislative session. What was your favorite wins from this year?
Well, to be honest, I kind of have to start with my own legislation because
you can always do that.
Can I start with my own legislation? One of the pieces of legislation on which I've worked for eight years. Starting my first year, but really the next year's brought it 3 times, and that was the sexuality opt-in, and that is hugely important to parents. The amount of sexual content, and I'm not talking sex education. We gave them sex education. Idaho's rules, statutes for sex education are really pretty amazing. And I agree with it. We can teach all things physiology and anatomy, et cetera, et cetera. As long as we do that, we're good. This has to do with has to do with teaching anything else in any of the other courses. It could be history, it could be English, it could be math, because it's amazing what they sneak in math. But and then, of course, had a definition of sexuality. It's pretty inclusive. And that actually came from the World Health Organization, or a lot of it did. So doing that, then if you do that without parental consent, an affirmation that this can be done, then you face the first 30-day cure where the board would put together that parent, a potential problem-solving mechanism. If that didn't actually happen or you weren't satisfied, then the parent has the ability to sue. We're tired of this. We're tired of the sexuality being snuck into our kids. And I had parents right here from District 91, because it's been happening in District 91. In particular, it seems to be happening with teachers who move here that are teaching from out of state. So when people think that it doesn't happen, it does happen. These parents testified and they're frustrated. So anyway, that was one. Another one was my campus free speech that I also worked on that one for about 5 years. It's something that University of Idaho got sued and taken to task in 2022. I think it came around in 2023 or 2024 where they absolutely did silence. This is the problem we've been facing with DEI. We're silencing the voices of our Christian conservative Republican students. And, so that was this is something that prevents that, and again, provides a mechanism and private cause of action should that happen. I certainly there are other pieces of legislation, the huge tax cut, largest in history, that for Idaho, that should be a huge benefit to all Idahoans. No matter what one says, our state's one of the better ran financially states as far as not being in the red. We're in the black. I loved what we did with SNAP, and basically saying this is silly, this is ridiculous. Why should you be able to go with basically our tax dollars and buy things that a lot of people just on a regular salary can't buy, with the pop and candy. If you're really on assistance, then be on assistance, and any other money you get, you just go spend your money on some of those niceties. So to me, that was huge. Some of the progress I think that Idaho made in Medicaid, some of the things that we wanted in the beginning. Medicaid expansion was all about making sure that people who are working would be able to receive, benefits of some kind. And this is just saying, listen, if you're not working, you don't get it. Mm-hmm. And you got to go out and do something. What is wrong with that? Most people agree with that, but how quickly, both at the state and the federal level, the people change that conversation. Oh, they're trying to kick everybody off Medicaid. I think you guys had even addressed it a little bit. No, that's not the case at all. We're trying to stop the fraud. And I liked what you did earlier with the View and, just the hypocrisy and the lies, the blatant lies. So, another thing that we addressed, oh gosh, I should have thought about this beforehand. There's so many good things that we did, for me, was able to pass also child protection legislation where I worked with Judge Ellis, we were able to go back through and change the language so that a child, if CPS comes in, instead of just removing them from the home, which if they were removed wrongfully, it is hard to get that child back. It takes anywhere at the earliest 6 months. To a year, the damage that can be done to that child. So basically what we said with that legislation is where possible, rather than removing the child, we'd remove the offending parent. So that was, some legislation, and we actually have more we're working on with that, including with this interim committee. So so many I think great things. It was a fantastic session, and excited to go back and get some more done. And then of course we got the water stuff. Although disappointed how that $30 million has been allocated. That's those who follow Brian Murdoch, he probably says it better, but still, Southeast Idaho legislators really came together to work towards that end.
You've got about 1 minute. What knowledge you have of the big beautiful bill? Do you, as legislators, could you speak collectively for the body? Are you worried about funding Medicaid, or is Idaho going to be okay with the big beautiful bill and Medicaid?
We're going to be okay, I believe. Okay. No, I don't think we're worried. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. It's interesting to me, the fear mongering that happens, especially from the Boise media with that, when they're not the ones who have to implement the changes. So if the legislators are fine with it, why do you have a problem with it? That's just always so weird for me. You didn't have to make it work when Medicaid expansion passed in 2018. You don't have to do anything with it now.
I don't know if you read their job description. It's in the job description.
Is that what it is? All right. Okay, we've got one more commercial break. We'll be back on News Talk 107.9.
Watch us now on Facebook Live by texting LIVE to 208-542-1079.
Live, local, stimulating talk for East Idaho.
It's the Stone's Kia Summer Kickoff event, and it's heating up fast. Right now at Stone's Kia, we're kicking off the summer of huge discounts, low APR offers, and incredible cash incentives on our full lineup of new Kias. Drive away in a brand new Telluride, Sorento, Sportage, or the all-new K4, all priced to move. Got a trade? We want it. And during this event, we're paying top dollar for every trade, no matter what you're driving. Plus, we've secured special interest rates just for this event. You could save thousands on your next Kia. And don't forget, every vehicle purchase comes with Stone's famous car washes for life. So what are you waiting for? The savings won't last forever. Hurry into Stone's Kia in Idaho Falls for the summer kickoff event, where the deals are hot and the cars are even hotter. Stone's Kia, we want to see you in a Kia. Offers on approved credit. See dealer for details. Limited time offer.
Stone's has got the deals, man. Find yourself a steal, man. Cars, trucks, SUVs, man. No better deals than these, man. 2-wheel, 4-wheel, everyone's a good deal. Stone's has got the deals.
Do you still have your wisdom teeth? Well, right now's a great time to schedule your wisdom tooth extraction at Comfort Care Dental. At Comfort Care Dental in Rexburg, Idaho Falls, and Pocatello, they can help. Regardless of age, insurance, flex plan, or busy schedules, Comfort Care Dental can work with your schedule and get you in for that much-needed wisdom tooth extraction. In fact, right now, you can get these extractions done for just $12.99. And they even offer sedation so you can snooze right through it. And did you know that your sedation could be covered by your dental insurance? Now, if insurance isn't an option for you, Comfort Care Dental has great payment options available as well. Call Comfort Care Dental today with any questions questions you might have and to schedule your appointment. Trust the team that thousands of others have trusted throughout East Idaho and experience the Comfort Care difference for yourself. Call Comfort Care Dental today or visit them online at mycomfortcaredental.com.
Hi, this is Bill from the Wealth of Health Natural Market. Curcumin, an active chemical in turmeric root, is hands down the #1 natural anti-inflammatory and pain management supplement. Don't confuse turmeric with curcumin. One is a food, and the second one is medicine derived from this food. There are many curcumin products on the market, but none come close to potency, efficacy, and retention in the blood as Terry Naturally BCM 95, Curamin, and Curamed. They have been voted #1 and #2 of all supplements in the U.S. according to SPINS data. Last year, we sold over 5,000 bottles with a return rate of less than 0.5%. If you don't want to take opioids after surgery or want to get off ibuprofen and Tylenol for pain, I urge you to give BCM 95 a try. If you would like to learn more about BCM 95 or would like to try Curamin or Curamed for pain and inflammation, please stop by the Wealth of Health on the corner of 1st and Woodruff in Idaho Falls or call us at 208-542-0015.
Stand Up for Idaho's June 4th Town Hall features Ralph Van Loo. Having lived in Washington and Texas, Ralph moved to Idaho Falls 4 years ago believing Idaho was a strong red state. Ralph has some observations he'd like to share with you on what's happening in Idaho. Attendance for Stand Up for Idaho's Town Hall is free, but donations are greatly appreciated. Stand Up for Idaho's weekly Town Hall, Wednesday, June 4th, Snake River Event Center, Shiloh Inn, 780 Lindsay Boulevard, Idaho Falls, 6:30 p.m.
If you've been experiencing joint discomfort or pain during your favorite activities or even work, this message is for you. At Summit Orthopedics in Idaho Falls, you'll find fellowship-trained specialists for all orthopedic issues or injuries. Back and neck pain, shoulder and knee injuries, wrists and ankles, and all joints in between. From diagnosis to recovery, the goal at Summit Orthopedics is to resolve the problem so you can enjoy your favorite activities pain-free. Call today, Summit Orthopedics, for all things orthopedics.
Join me, Guy Benson, every weeknight, 8 to 11, only on News Talk 107.9.
All right, Barb, thank you so much for being with us on this Tuesday. Best wishes with everything that's coming up.
Thank you, Julie. It was fun to be here. Thanks, everyone out there in that listening audience, too.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.